G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. We are on the desktop of Solus Budgie and Solus 3.9999 Budgie Desktop. So I was going to record the install of Solus Budgie. However, I came across a problem with the live disk. And the problem was, if we have a look here, unfortunately there was 611 megabytes to update. Now the GNOME version had something like 500, but I don't think there's as many changes within the GNOME desktop environment as opposed to the Budgie desktop. That's been probably changed a lot as it goes. So unfortunately, I couldn't get Simple Screen Recorder installed. I tried on three different computers, 2 laptops and a desktop. I tried running these updates before installing on the live disk or live USB and run out of disk space. I tried doing it in the terminal. I tried in the software center, but I just could not get that going. So that's all right, because you've seen the install of the GNOME version. So if you want to check that out, Solus 3.999 install and look around, then you can see the install on that. It's very much the same. So what I want to do is probably have a look at the I wanted to try and do a install alongside of a Linux distro, checking the install alongside box. So I may do that in a virtual box. So here we are, Solus Budgie. It looks to me like not a lot has changed since I last used it, maybe 18 months ago or something like that. We'll just run through the different categories here. Comes installed with full Office suite, LibreOffice, and I installed Simple Screen Recorder. That's all I've done. System settings, system tools, universal access, utilities, and other. In the Solus Budgie, we have the Raven panel on the side here, which gives you quick access to your sound input and output, and the calendar, and also notifications. Now you have a quick settings button here, which is for the Budgie desktop settings. And you also, in the menu, have another settings as well, which is the main settings. So that looks very similar to the GNOME settings. Well, it's based on sort of GNOME anyway, so that's why it has a very similar look and feel in the settings department. So as you can see, not a huge amount of difference in that area there. So just have a quick look at the backgrounds. Should be the same as the GNOME one, I would say. I don't think they differ too much. So if we have a look at the Budgie desktop settings, we've got the bottom panel. You can choose to add applets in there, and you've got probably some of the applets in use already, which is the Raven panel or the trigger. You got the night light, lock keys. So there's a few applets to choose from there. Nowhere near as spoiled as what we are in Ubuntu Budgie. So the panel, you can go top, left and right. Bottom, you can choose to have dark mode, not dark mode, dock mode, dark mode. You can choose to have dock mode or not, or panel mode. You can choose to have always transparent or dynamic, which would do what, I'd say the dynamic would do exactly what Ubuntu does. I would say it changes with the colors. So let's just check that out. If we go to settings again and just change the background and see what happens. So what's our background at the moment? Oh, it's that one there, is it? No. So it's going to change anyway because it is transparent, so that's obvious. Okay, so there's the transparency there. We can put it on none. You can change the size of your icons. You can choose shadow or no shadow. So when you have transparency, you can choose to turn that shadow off and the shadow disappears, or you can turn it on. You can stylize regions. So when you stylize regions, if you have a look at this one here, it just changes the distance in the system tray there. You can choose your style of widgets, adapter. You can change the top bit here, change your icons and your cursor. You got dark theme there. Dark theme and non-dark theme. Built-in theme will change the panel slightly. So if we choose to turn that off, you can see a slight difference in the panel. And animations. You can choose to put your buttons on the left or the right. Automatic tiling. So you have that on already. So it only goes halves and doesn't have quarters. So you can go back to bottom panel. You can automatically hide, intelligently hide, never hide. You've got auto start, so you can choose to add an application to auto start. So when you first start up, that application will start automatically. You can choose to show your home directory on the desktop, your network servers, your trash, and your mounted volumes, which there is none at the moment. So if you open trash, you got your trash there, but I'd prefer to probably turn those off for now. You can choose to not even have desktop icons to choose from. Well, actually, what does that change, that one there? It turns off the desktop here. Okay, so that's what that does. Change your fonts. And then you got your bottom panel. We can choose applets. And you've got your nightlight applet. So to add that, you add applet there. Everything that you add will start in the center of the panel. So you can choose your nightlight to go on and the screen turns red. You probably won't see that on the YouTube channel, but that went completely red. It takes out the blue light, which helps you sleep after being on the computer for some time before bed. And then if you want to move your nightlight, you can move it up and down. And as you can see, it's right at the end. You can move it to different places in the center or to the right hand side all the way to the other end, or you can choose to remove that applet. And do you really want to move it? Confirm the applet, make sure you've highlighted the correct applet and remove the applet. Now the same as the GNOME desktop, you have the software center. So there is no difference between this one and the GNOME one. The software center is the Solus software center. So just like in the GNOME desktop, you've got a choice of installing a different desktop. So in here, if you wanted to install the KDE desktop, you can do that. So you got your KDE core system stuff here, and you probably have to install them one by one. It may install the dependencies needed for each one. Well, it will. So yes, there's a few desktops that you can choose from there. GNOME documentation tools, but you got the KDE desktop, i3 desktop, the GNOME desktop, Mate. So there's plenty of desktop, or a few desktops to choose from there. So games, multimedia and graphics, internet software, so quite a few different categories there. Office, programming and languages, security, and system software. So you've got kernel drivers, boot utilities, and all sorts of different utilities there. That's the software center. Now what we're going to be doing here is looking at the third party. Now in the GNOME desktop environment, we installed the Google Chrome by clicking on install here. So what we're going to do here is we are going to have a look at how to do it through the third party. Now see, in this one it comes up with the software, with the Solus website, which it didn't do on the GNOME desktop. So if we go to Help Center and we go to Software and Third Party, so we're going to install Google Chrome through here and see how that performs, or how quick that operation is, as opposed to how it was on the GNOME desktop. So let's do that. So we copy and paste that, press enter, put in your password, and we type Y for yes and press enter, and then 3 clicks will highlight, 3 quick clicks will highlight that whole line. So there's 2 commands there. So once you get your name and the computer name there with the blinking cursor, that's finished. Then we can paste the second one and enter that. And that's done. For me, I think it was about the same amount of time doing it through the software center third party as opposed to here. But when you're doing it through the terminal, there's a definite guarantee that it's finished. So there's sometimes doing the third party through the software center can sometimes sort of leave you hanging for a while and you don't know whether it's complete or not complete. But in the terminal, there's definite visual completion in the terminal. So for me, that sometimes is a better way. I do believe that Solus are working on their software center to fix all that up. That takes time. So once they sort all that out, that would be quite good. So if we was to do another one, I'll install Ocean Audio, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. So let's do that one. We'll find it in here. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Copy that. Paste. Enter password. And then we paste the second command. Press enter. Yes, we do. Now, extra packages due to extra dependencies. Yes. So that was the problem I was having when I was trying to install Simple Screen Recorder on the live disk. I was getting conflicting files because the system needed an update. So because Solus is already over 600 megabytes of updates, it creates conflicting files for things like that. So it makes it a bit difficult to do things on the live USB or disk because of that reason. But it's a good thing because it means that they're constantly updating their operating system. So yeah, it's a catch-22 really at the end of the day. Just doesn't help my cause to make a video, but I probably could have tried a snap, and I'm not even sure whether Solus, I'm pretty sure they support snaps, but I haven't seen it anywhere now that we've mentioned it. We could do that as well while we're in the terminal. Let's check out snaps. Let's see, sudo snap install. What can we install? Let's try Telegram. It's one of my favorites. Password. I don't know whether this is going to work or not. I'm not quite sure what that error is. Do we need to install Snap? Sudo eopkg it snap. I'm not sure how we search. eopkg search snap. I'm not sure. Did I? Jeez. Okay, so snap glib, snap raid, snap d, snap d. Snap d, is it? Maybe it's snap d. So let's try that. Let's clear that. Snap d. So we hit the up arrow to get to your, and keep hitting your up arrow till you come across the one that you want to do, which is sudo eopkg it snap d. Let's try that. Already installed and not going to be installed again. Snap d. So okay, so we need to sudo snap d install Telegram. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Snapd command not found. Snap dash help. Search Telegram. Oh no, I'm searching the eopkg, aren't I? Snap search Telegram. Okay, so let's have a look. Telegram dash desktop. There, that's what I'm doing wrong. Sudo snap install Telegram dash desktop. Oh, there we go. I think that's got it. So you just need to know your commands, I suppose. There we go. Installing a snap. So snap is installed out of the box, I believe. Yes, it was installed, wasn't it? Sometimes you get so focused on what you're doing, you forget what commands you made, whether I installed snap or not. But no, definitely it was installed out of the box. So a couple of things we can look at here. We installed Ocean Audio, which is part of sound and video. There it is there. Open Ocean Audio, which is a simplified Audacity, which can help you manipulate audio files, make a couple of changes to your audio files and whatever you want to do with that. And the other thing we installed was, part of internet, was Google Chrome. So that's installed through the third party. So if you're having any issues with third party, sometimes it pays to close it and maybe log out and log back in and see whether your application installed, which sometimes it does, just that the third party hangs a bit. Or you can do it through the command line, which is quite a simple process anyway. And I find the command line a little bit more, what can you say, more reliable, I suppose is the word I'm looking for, when it comes to installing third party in Solus. So Telegram is installed. That will take a little while to probably open on first boot. So there we have Telegram installed. So that's a snap, very nice. So that is your third-party scripts. So in the Software Center, you can do a search for anything you like. So we'll do a search for Audacity and press enter. And there you have Audacity there, so you can do that. You got choices of settings for your Software Center as well. The type of updates you wish to be notified about, allow fetching of remote media including screenshots, enable checking for updates on metered connections, automatically check for updates, and then you got your home button, and then you got your updates, so you can click on here to check for updates. Discombobulating update matrix. What a cool word, discombobulating. So there we have it. We've got a calendar there, which is a full screen calendar, I believe. Yep. You can add events and so forth onto that, and your weather as well. So the weather is actually there. Yep, there's the weather. You got your logout, lock screen, suspend, hibernate, restart, shutdown, sound obviously, and the sound settings, unread notifications, your power, internet, and some shortcuts to applications down the bottom left hand corner there. So if we right click these, we can choose to pin it. If we open an application that's not in there, say we'll go to Office and open LibreOffice Calc, which is my favourite. Now once that opens up and you are it's on the panel, you can choose to right click. Oh, you can close, but you can't add to panel. That's interesting. Have they changed something there? No right click available there, so you can't even choose to pin that to panel. That's interesting. Interesting, that one. So you got shortcuts to updates there on the updater application icon. no MPV player, which is a pretty good video player. Image viewer, Thunderbird, online accounts, so we have settings and online accounts be the same as the GNOME one, I would say. So there we go. So the Solus Budgie Desktop is very simple, but also very complete as a desktop. I'd like to see a bit of a change in the menu, but there's a lot of work to be done on Budgie still. It's evolving every day, I suppose you could say, and but it's simple by design anyway, and I'm pretty sure that's part of their motto on their website is simple by design or something like that. We'll have a quick look at that. Let's have a look at the download page. A feature-rich, luxurious desktop using the most modern technologies. So there you go. So from the Raven panel in the bottom right corner, you can get you've got a link directly to your Budgie desktop settings. So the settings are quite simple, really. They're nothing too hard about the settings. They got what could you say? Very simple choices, but good choices where you can customize the desktop in a very simple way to suit your workflow, and but it's not hard to do. So I mean, if you go to the bottom panel here, you can choose settings here, and you can do anything you need with the panel, like the position, the size, automatically hide, transparency, the shadow, stylize regions, put it into dock mode. So you've got most of your settings there for the panel anyway, so that's pretty good. You can add and remove applets, very simple. Then you can choose your button layouts, your fonts, your desktop, and your style. This style here would be the buttons, so that would change. And then you can choose to use the built-in theme, and that changes mainly the bottom panel there slightly, follows the built-in theme rather than the panel theme of itself. I think that's how that works. Then you got the dark theme. So that's your Budgie desktop settings, and then you've got your normal settings, which are the GNOME settings. So I'll just run through those again. And those settings there are very much settings that everyone would know about. So there's the info about Solus and the computer here, which would be the same as what you're seeing in the GNOME desktop, date and time. Users, that takes a bit to populate, I think. There we go. Default applications, so you can choose which application you want to open when you double click. So for music, if you double click an audio file, it'll open in Rhythmbox and so forth. And the rest of the settings are pretty much your standard settings for the system anyway. And the other thing you've got is Alt F2. If you hold Alt F2, you get this thing here, and then you can start typing, say, Google, and just press enter, it'll open, like so. Alt F2 again, if you go OS and Audio, Office, yep, Telegram, so you can do a very quick search with Alt F2 on there as well. That comes in handy. Click away and it goes away. And then you got your right click, change background, organize the desktop, open terminal here, new folder, and that's the other thing. The same as we did with the GNOME desktop. If you do text editor and save a blank document into templates, give it a name, new text document. Save that, and then you should have that as an option when you right click in your file manager and new text document, and the same with LibreOffice, Calc and Word and so forth. And then the same as the GNOME desktop, you have your menu on the top left here, and you got preferences, and you can change the behavior to single click, which was in the GNOME desktop by default, but not in Budgie. Search and review, list columns, behavior, and views. So while I was getting ready to edit, well, actually I started editing this Budgie video, there were some updates that came through for Budgie. So there was about 300 and something megabytes worth, I think it was. So, and the main things that I have seen so far which have been updated is the right click on these applications here. They got other different functions there. I think I've seen this on one of the Solus Hackfest they were working on it, or they might have even uploaded a small video on what they were trying to achieve. So if we say calculator, for example, we open that up and we right click, we click the star, and that means that it's been added as a favorite here. And when it's open, you got also these options here: maximize, minimize, move to workspaces, launch a new instance. So there we go, there's two instances open there. So you got that and that and that. Okay, and this one here is close all windows. So there we go. So that's been one of the most obvious changes that I've seen. I thought I would put this video together and add it on the end of the video that I was going to start editing, or I had started editing. So same again, we go here, we can click the star on that, and you've got always on top option there, and the same other menus: launch a new instance and close all windows. So now the other thing I have noticed is in the Raven bar, they've got some different options here: apps and devices. So you can choose which device you're using, and then the controls change for the selected, the device that's been selected. And then you've got apps as well, so you can control the sound from within the app. So simple screen recorder, it's recognized that I am recording. I could probably lower that. If I was to lower that, you'd probably hardly hear my voice, and I'll bring it back up again. I would hope that that's the case anyway, or it could be actually that's the sound, isn't it? So this is the microphone here. So if we lower that, you might not be able to hear me. You can probably hear me a bit more now, and then my voice will start coming up. So normally I have full volume on a simple screen recorder and adjust the volume on the microphone, which gives me normally a consistent volume when I do these videos, but it doesn't always work out that way. And the other thing I've noticed is there's no shortcut to the Budgie settings in here. So normally you got some shortcuts here, but there's nothing there. So I might have to highlight those in the video to show what's there when I and I'll show you what's there, and then we can have a look at what's not there. And I'll do that through the course of editing. So I haven't really noticed any other major changes here except for those two, so I'm not sure what else has changed. May have updated some latest, brought some applications up to their latest versions and so forth. I'm not quite sure. I just clicked the install and went for it. So let's have a look at LibreOffice. Maybe that's been updated. I really don't know. I didn't check that out. So that's the obvious ones anyway. So the only thing you can do now is go to System Tools, I think it is, and you've got Settings and Budgie Settings. So what you could do there, there's no right click on this menu. So it'd be not, I don't know if we can drag. We can't drag down to the panel either, which is a bit disappointing. No, you can't do it. Or, oh, can we put it in there? Oh, yes, we can, sorry. Oh, so it's got to be within that vicinity there. Okay. So you've got the Budgie desktop settings, and then you've got the settings. And I really would appreciate if Solus could maybe make one of these settings icons different to the other one. I think they need their own identity, just for visual purposes. That would be pretty good. It tells you there on the tooltip anyway. Settings, launch settings, and launch Budgie desktop settings. So you've got that handy anyway. So they're the changes I've seen so far, and maybe this is updated. I don't know if it updated any part of the GNOME. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was that. I have to look back through the video as well while I'm editing and check that out as well. So that's the main difference there, and star that as well. That'll stay there. So I just thought I would I'd throw that in the end of the, or somewhere within the editing of the Budgie look around anyway, and probably more than likely at the end of the video because it is an update. So that's the little changes there on the latest updates of Solus. So that is the Solus 3.9999 Budgie desktop. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.